Hello. Thank you for coming to another Monologues with God. In this monologue, I would like to talk about family, our relationship with our family, breaking generational curses, and stepping into our unique path on this earth beyond family agreements and loyalties. Hence, approaching your existence on earth in sovereignty, not following others' waves, but your wave. There's a lot of distractions on earth, numerous. When you nourish your center and your pillar of light and connection and plug with God on a day-to-day basis in your own unique way, painting, running, talking, playing an instrument, singing, replying to comments. If you're on YouTube saying positive things, that's for somebody. When you devote yourself to that nourishment daily, even for 5 minutes, this connection within becomes so strong. And there's a lot of people who are so spiritual, but they don't know they're spiritual. That they don't even need to know all of this spiritual lingo and all of these spiritual studies, because they're so connected to the simplicity of the action itself that they're making such a difference. And that's another lesson for all of us who love these concepts and researching and learning. Sometimes people just following their instinct can be the most spiritual practice of them all. Because I have seen meditation students and energy healing practitioners meditating daily for 1 hour, weekly attendance to community settings where they're healing people and all in between, and they believe that they're better, and they believe that they are on another level, and they believe that they're more spiritual because they practice. They believe they're more advanced. They believe they're an older soul and they are younger souls. And that I powerfully disagree. Because some people, in the simplicity of rooting themselves in what makes them blossom or what gives meaning to their life, can be the most revolutionary and awakening practice of them all. Because we all have a role to play on this earth. And when we devote ourselves to playing our role, following our unique calling, then it all makes sense. And what comes with that is something so personal and unique. And that leads me to, from this strong space, or from this self, lone wolf communion with God, where nobody comes, but just you and God. And you willingly say, you willingly make the call, you touch the numbers, and you make the call, right? Let's say you have a physical phone, so you willingly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, God, and then you daily create that call with God. So you activate that already exists in you, and you feel it, or you aim to feel it beyond something mental, or at least you touch your body, you can perform a more of a somatic ritual, or simply as painting or speaking, like I mentioned, you become stronger in this connection. And this awareness will lead you intuitively and holistically to a life that is being lived from that center space where only you and God exist. So the agendas of others and their needs and their wants and their desires, those that they accept and they don't accept, or those desires that they have that they don't even know they have, or their energies, or their jealousies or perceptions of you and all in between, will not come into your center, or at least if it comes, you will have a filter so you can move forward knowing who you are, know who they want you to be. Sometimes, most of the time unconsciously. Or whatever they do, you filter because you have a nourished center, and then you can decide. So you continue to move forward to what you came here to do in awareness and discernment. So if you are in a party or you travel to a wedding and you are hanging out with all the the guests of the wedding, and some people are drinking and they decide to go to the beach to explore. It's late at night, the wedding ended, and there's this person who is like pushing you to go, but you have a notch in your heart not to go. And the person is like, you're already seeing that the person pushes your boundaries, that the person is taking your time, the person is telling you all of their problems, and more than that, more than telling you their problems, they are constantly taking you from point A to point B, constantly pushing you. If the prayer is that you have enough strength inside, that when you feel, okay, yes, I have allowed this person, I know I've been way too permissive with this person, but whatever, peace and love. But I have given my time. But to go to the beach after drinking, intoxicated, and I'm saying no, and the person keeps pushing me, I'm gonna say no. And the person might say, oh, you're so boring, you do this, let's go, man, or they touch you and let's go. You say no. Why? Because you already know all of the permissions, slips that you have been giving. And there's a difference when you are in a public space with this person, but it's completely different if you go to that beach. Because you don't know what can happen. There's ocean, there's nature, there's forces, and there's, most importantly, intuition, that because you are in your center, that's a step in the line. I'm not gonna go. Because let me tell you, this leads to the simple awareness of there are distractions on this earth, and you can be distracted. And not all battles are yours. Sometimes your greatest service is to remain in your place, completing your task and making the difference that you came here to make, and nourishing that connection with God. Taking action, but taking action on your path. And you know when to interfere. Oh, you will know. So in moments like this that may seem as innocent, no, because you really don't know the person's intention, and you might be the scapegoat. Or maybe not. But do you really want to try it? Do you really want to say yes to something that you know is not it? I'm going to give you an example. Another one. And this one is personal. And it might be simple, but okay. I was living in New York. I was about to leave New York because I was moving to France. I no longer live in France, but I was gonna live in France, but I've been living in New York. I was moving from Long Island to Brooklyn. I was gonna stay at a family relative's house on Brooklyn, so I had to take a train with a huge suitcase, backpack by myself from Long Island to Brooklyn. That's a ride. With a huge suitcase in New York. And it was like Long Island, not even Manhattan. It is a distance, especially when you're heavy. I'm on the subway. It was hard. The subway was complicated because I was living on Long Island. Every time I went to the city, I would take the train, and then I just took a bus or walk. So that time living in New York, I didn't fully utilize the subway like I used to in other times that I lived in New York. So I was in a vulnerable space utilizing the subway. So to even get in the right subway line to get to Brooklyn, it was messy. And then I'm alone. There's no elevator, or at least I didn't see it in that station. Everybody is New York. Everybody's like blinders on. I'm on my way. Get out of my way, which can be refreshing because you're not losing time, but it can also be ruthless and scary. So point is, I make it to a stable space where I'm sitting on my way to Brooklyn, and I start crying. Living alone, on my way alone to Brooklyn, and then after Brooklyn, I was going alone to France, career changing, not exactly knowing what's next, but knowing that I need to do this, and I'm crying. Later on that day, I have a therapy session with my therapist, which is our last ones because she cannot see me if I'm in France. I need to work on my computer. I need to also get to my lodging where I'm gonna be staying, and the family relative is gonna be working. So it's like all of this. I have things to do. Listen to this. A guy sees me crying, and then he's like, let's stop. Let's come down. Let's come down from the subway. Like, let's just wait in the in-between, when the subway stops, in every stop. Let's just come down and let's talk. So he's like, come. I didn't find him attractive. I'm sure he was being just nice because he wasn't like hitting on me, not that way. I'm sure he just felt bad for me. He felt sad that I was crying. And then he was like, come with me. Let's come down from the subway, and let's just speak on the waiting space in the subway station. And then you can, I'm sure he was like, let's just stop, and then you come down and then you leave. In that moment, it was a no. This is something very New Yorker, where you are there in the city and people come into your life, and it's funny, it's the exact example that I'm giving. People come into your life on New York, and you hop into that train, and then you get out. Or they hop onto your train, and then they get out. It's like that. New York is like, you clash, you share, they plant seeds that are forever, and then you say goodbye. Very New Yorker. That's life, but New York is a beautiful embodiment because that's how the city moves. That's the energy of the city. So in the past, I have had done that. I have met people on a red light. I have met people on coffees. I have met people having dinner on a bar by myself. But this time, when the guy asked me to go down, my intuition told me, no. You have somewhere to go. You need to go to therapy. The pathway to your relative house after you arrive to New York is long, super long. The subway station was far away from his house. You have a suitcase, a backpack, you're heavy, a weight because of all these extras. Like, you have things to do. You have a place to be. And just because somebody's being nice with you and have the best of intentions doesn't mean you need to calm down. It sounds ruthless. And it sounds like, oh, why can you not be flexible? It was like a visceral awareness that came onto me. No. Remain focused. Remain on task. There's a quote in the Sophia Code. I was a young girl no longer. I was a woman with a destiny to fulfill. Kuan Yin, the Sophia Code. I was a young girl no longer. I was a woman with a destiny to fulfill. In that train, I was a woman with a destiny to fulfill, which is, I need to get to France. I need to do my best on this week in Brooklyn. And I need to go to therapy, and I need to do my own thing, and I need to establish myself in Brooklyn, go to grocery shopping, like this offering that is coming derails me. We're not even touching the fact that, let's see if this man is to be trusted. It can be a woman too. It can be someone that you meet on the airplane. That happened to me actually. On another trip, I was returning to where my parents live, and I met a woman on the plane. She invited me to her business, and I was like, no, that's a no. Like, my intuition was like, no, you met her, goodbye. You have nothing to do with her on the business. Not because I'm better than her, not because I'm safe and she's unsafe. No, just no. That's a no. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way about me. I'm just something that came into their life. I'm a lesson, and they let me go. Like an eagle, right? We're looking at it from like a zoom out perspective. So the quote that came to me in that moment was like, you have a destiny to fulfill. You have something to do. You cannot go down. Don't distract yourself. No, every invitation is a yes. Take your time for the things that you need to do, because people are gonna have agendas, or people can invite you to things, and they might not be the best for you. They might be very selfish, even unbeknownst to them. And all of this leads me to, many times, families will do that. Don't go to this country. It's super dangerous. How are you going to live your life that way? Or you're supposed to come here and help me and help us, when you know that's not your path. And then I need to make so much art about this. There are these dynamics where we have siblings, where I'm no longer in this dynamic, but where we have siblings and then we're talking to them almost daily, and then the sibling push onto us all of their weight that they haven't taken care of, or all of the things that they haven't taking responsibility or are not facing in their life, they push it onto the younger sibling or another sibling, and then they mistreat us, and then they kind of put you in this box of emotional weight and punching back, because it's what we have taken by forming part of the family system and growing up like that. We all take a role, and our role has been to be the punching back, and then we're loyal to our sibling, and we know their pain and we know what they're going through, so we continue to hang out with them, but we are remaining submissive to something that really is hurting us, to something that is delaying us to achieve what we want to achieve. Because let's say, this is a real life example, by the way, this sibling that is punching the other sibling continues to do that, and then unconsciously the sibling that is receiving the punch kind of repeats that behavior in other areas of their life, business-wise, romantically, because the sibling who is being punched remains a child, because it's accepting mistreatment from their own sibling because they're loyal to them. Instead of creating a healthy distance and then taking their place as an adult, and then from that whole space sharing time with them. But as long as the punching back sibling remains a punching back and doesn't take their power, because taking their power will mean facing the bully, the sibling that is bullying or carrying all of the emotional baggage, or more than carrying, who is unable to carry their own baggage, so they throw it out to the other sibling, to the one who has the capacity to receive it. The more this dynamic continues to happen, both remain stuck. And then you are not sovereign living your life. You're living your life following the unattended emotional world of this older sibling, or sometimes it's a younger, it is this, it sometimes doesn't matter in which position, but usually it is the older one, or who knows, or sometimes it's a mother, sometimes it's a father, until you don't claim your sovereignty, your destiny, and become the man and woman you came here to become by choice, to fulfill your destiny. You will continue to be in this dynamic, and then you will get swayed by people on trains, by quote-unquote friends, by bosses, and all in between. Message delivered. I don't need to say anything more. That's the emancipation from your family.